It's allergy. Go.
So are these different, the new one's different than the old one?
Yes. Sorry, everybody has a different agenda in front of them. I pulled who got here earlier. I know I talked to you earlier, Lisa, and the solicitor amended it. We're going to approve that. And then there's another resolution ordinance that she included, and other ones were taken out. So that's why there's a new agenda as well. So you can follow that one, okay?
What was removed, Sheriff? You know?
None of this is on there.
It was.
No, I know that, but it wasn't removed. Some was removed.
The one that was approving adopting the American Legal Publishing.
Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay, thank you.
All right, call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So everybody knows Lynette is on the telephone, so she will be able to listen and give us the guidance if we need it.
Can you hear us good enough, Lynette?
I can. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in attendance. I'm having a little stomach issue. I do.
Hit the volume button, not the hang up the button.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta hit the volume up, not the speaker button.
Sorry.
I just felt bad before now, I'm not done.
She's trying to call you at the same time you're trying to call her. Okay.
I got it, Nathan. I'm here. 937
You want that on record, though?
609 962.
96 what?
Never mind. I
Don't
need-
do it on the
We don't
record,
need
write
all
it
of
down.
It needs to be
and hand
written
it
down,
to
not provided to everybody
I'm
else.
sorry.
Hmm.
That is my fault. Thank you for answering that, Nathan.
Sorry on that, that was me, I was trying to make sure the volume was up, and I hit the wrong button, so we're gonna have to do this all over again, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so we have you back. You still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect.
Lynette, for the benefit of us that are on the edges, if we can't get the volume up, we'll see here, Sarah's turning it up, maybe that'll work. Thank you.
I'm having a hard time hearing that, if that was directed towards me.
We got the volume up, so that should have helped. Lisa, is that better?
It's better. It's just
Okay, I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
Okay,
Great.
good.
I have a hearing impairment and I can hear her. If I can't, I'll tell you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do roll call today. Mayor Luma,
Here.
Fox,
Here.
Ball, Hudson,
Here.
Nichols,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Walty.
Here.
Okay. Need a motion to adopt amended agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
And get a second.
Second.
Fox,
Yeah.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Greg, we're gonna let you go ahead and go, so you can.
Yep, just so everybody knows, I'm not on the agenda because I just kind of showed up. We'd originally talked about having a CDBG meeting at 6 as a kickoff meeting, but I never sent Aaron anything because I realized we'd lost our main funding person and I was a year off with what I was doing. So we're not going to have to do 3 meetings for CDBG. What we're going to do is, you see the map in front of you. There's a red line, which pretty much shows where we hope to run a new storm outlet for the east side of town. In the white boxes are the property owners' names. So we kinda know who the property owners are there. I don't know if anybody on council potentially knows any of those people. What I talked to Aaron about was, Aaron made the comment to me that, could the village approach the county commissioners and do this as a assessment project, a common ditch assessment project. I told Aaron, I said, potentially you could. I said, but I don't know how often you guys have been involved with assessment projects like that. They don't normally go well, and normally they don't go any quicker than 3 to 5 years.
Right.
So, knowing that we'd like to do East Wapakoneta Street and to have a good storm outlet to do that, we do this and we use what's called the critical, CDBG critical funding, which there's $470,000 available in that fund to use for construction. I put an estimate with the map, so you guys kind of see, to run that out there, was right around 430, roughly. And I also made the comment to Aaron, if anybody in the village knows those property owners, it kind of is a nice way to talk to landowners, say, look, we don't want to go through a county we don't want to do a petition ditch, process through the commissioners. We'd like to just work with you, with the village, but we need to have an easement so we can go through and, we connect all their tiles as we run through this. So, I mean, it's really a win-win for everybody to get through and get this done. We've done this with other villages. The biggest trick with this is you need to have an easement. You need to have the farmers that are, now when you look at the bottom one, that's right above the lagoon property, that, where it kind of curves around, that's already grass waterway. So where we're running, that's already in part of his field that he doesn't do anything with. The next one up, that kind of, basically we try to hug the woods there and kind of have a smooth one go through. And I gotta believe between his property and that woods, if it is tiled, it's probably not tiled very well. So again, I would think there might be options. And then when you get up closer to town, both of those two are kind of like big grass areas. I don't know if whoever does that does some grazing on it. Pretty much every area I've ever looked at, it's always just been
It's usually,
kind of
I was going to say alfalfa or hay.
yeah, I didn't even know if it was set aside.
No, it's usually
Okay.
hay. They harvest it for animal feed.
Okay.
I don't know if it's, I assume it's hay, is it, Aaron?
Yeah, I didn't know if they
But-
used it for pasture, if they made a crop off of it.
But through there, we're pretty much gonna be hugging right along their property line, along that tree line, so, I mean, we can pick up whatever we do, but I told Aaron I didn't wanna put too many lines on this map to confuse you, and I didn't bring my real large one, but I will tell you guys, as you look at this, the water, and I gotta make sure I don't draw a crazy line myself here, the watershed area comes like this top property, 90% of that watershed goes east. The second block down, about 70% of that watershed goes east. And then once you get down to the third one where we do the S all the way through, then pretty much all of that comes into this watershed. But these first two, and then this top, we're running along the edge of that watershed. So there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be coming across us, is basically what I wanted to kind of let you guys know as we run this.
How's that going to help the low area that is here?
Well, because once we get it to here, it's easy to tie everything in because of the road right there.
I'm gonna,
Yeah, yeah.
no, this is below,
Right.
You can see it's my property.
Yep.
So, or our property. So
Yeah.
this area here, this whole area here floods.
Yep.
Will this fix that?
Yeah. If you look at the elevation here's 1053, the elevation down there is 1031.
Aaron, we did those elevations of that Do you remember, because it was like 10:30 or something?
It was awful.
Well,
It was going to be fairly flat to get it to go straight south on the topo that you did
yeah,
before.
yeah. Now, when you look at these elevations, they're not, the ones we did in town were localized, so you can't take a 1030. I'm just telling you, where we're outletting is 25 feet below where that is there. So unless you're in a 25-foot deep hole from the edge of that, we can drain your property.
That's possible.
25 feet?
Well, it's
That's
a lot.
That's almost 3 stories.
It's not 25 feet, but it's a lot. I mean, I don't know how you can get water to run uphill. Unless you.
Well, that's why I'm letting you know there's 25 feet of fall, where we're not,
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that council time.
yeah.
Craig, one question that we didn't talk about, if this would go through and just thinking out loud, the tile by the woods, how far out from the woods?
We wanna make sure we stay at least past what the camp is of the tree, because that's how far out the roots go.
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
So approximately.
I'd like to be 30 foot off
I
the
was
woods.
just gonna say
Yep.
25 to 30.
There is and you probably know, isn't there a huge tile that goes through here? What's that?
There's something through there, but it doesn't really get to anywhere. What the county used to do is the county used to have a petition that came up here, came along the road and came through the edge of this property, came up, but they abandoned it. So the 24 that comes over, I don't know that it's got a good outlet once it gets there.
No, as part of this project, the West Lafayette Street, they put, I thought, a storm sewer down Main Street.
We did, we tied into that, but I don't know that it's actually a good outlet from there.
It went across this property into something.
Yep,
I don't know what it went into.
right, that's what I mean, we never had records and I checked back on that project. It never actually got traced where there's actually where they knew.
So you think
there was
it's
an
draining,
outlet.
right? Jesus, okay.
I would say it's probably tying into an 8 or a 12-inch farm tile.
That's a pretty good sized pipe.
Right.
And it's draining all of this.
Right.
Okay. You're the engineer, I just.
Well, I can't,
dug the hole.
my thing is, and we might go out and we might talk to these 2 property owners, and they might say, see, the county doesn't have anything on file, so they don't know what's out there. We don't have anything on file, so I can't tell you I know what's there for certain.
Would it be worth at least cammering down Main Street to see what that tile goes into? If they run new tile back 15 years ago, they hook up to something.
I think it's best if we take something like this and talk to the landowners, because those landowners usually can tell you.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, a lot of times the landowner can pull right out a tile map of his whole field.
Yep.
I wanted to just talk to you guys because I'm happy to go talk to them with you guys if you want me to, but I'm not gonna approach somebody without the bill.
Sure. And
So-
it-
I'm sorry, Aaron. So we would be applying for this critical funding grant, and what potentially would be our responsibility, our percentage? Would it be a total 100% fund?
We would tie this right into the funding you already have for East Lafayette.
I see. So similar to that ditch
Yes.
petition that they did for West Lafayette.
Yep.
And we tied into that and just, in essence, took that over and did it.
Yep.
So we're a year out from this, so instead of.
No, when this goes in this spring, we should be able to, if this goes through and we get it, we should be able to do just like we did the other project where we bid it this fall, and construction would start this coming winter.
So we apply in the spring,
Yes,
and we would be notified of what we
by
got.
September of this year.
So we don't have to do any meetings,
Nope, not for this spring.
or any more, but certainly, right.
Correct. Now, like I told Aaron, the surveys that do come in, though, we'll be able to utilize if you want to do a neighborhood next year, which kind of, it's $750,000 the village can spend on things, so a lot of times they'll just want to do that.
Well, can we use it for roads?
Well, but you're not doing it until next year, so it doesn't matter. Like,
No, I mean,
now.
other roads besides
Yeah,
East Wapakoneta, we
Yeah.
could use it to
you can use it
repair
for all kinds
roads
of things,
that
yep.
need, that are in disrepair, that we're trying to come
Yep.
up with funds to
Yeah,
do.
but that'll be a whole separate project, so I don't wanna get started on
No,
something
that's
there
fine. I
that
just-
confuses everything.
Just making my wheels turn.
Craig, you and I talked before a little bit about this. This is size bigger than what is currently needed.
Correct.
So there could be some future growth go into that, so the 1,000-foot view, 30 years down the road, if there's any other growth to the town, that tile is big enough.
Right, and the other thing that I told Aaron is if there is any additional growth in town, when anything now gets disturbed that's larger than an acre, the EPA requires that you have on-site detention. So, in the future, when those farm fields, if they get developed, there will be detention areas that have to go in, and the area that'll enter that pipe in the future will be less flow than what goes into that pipe now through farm fields. That's honestly how it'll work.
So we're 30-inch and 8-inch, but, yeah, that's fine.
The 8 inches to basically run a tile alongside and catch a lot of these stringers and tie them into one spot.
Excuse me, what strainers?
Stringers, they're all the 4-inch, field tiles that are coming in. They usually run 30 to 50 feet.
That way, on your main tile, you don't have 4-inch holes every 40 feet. They're gonna go into that 8-inch as a mini trunk line. That 8-inch will then go into the 30 at one spot. That way, you don't have that many holes. Because down the road, no doubt, 40 years from now, if you have a problem, it's where it's gonna be.
Well, and quite honestly, and it's also because what Aaron was saying, but the larger pipe gets more flow and faster velocity in the flow, so those connections will break quicker than what the connection of the 8 inches will.
What do you need from us? Anything today?
No, we had set up originally having the first CDBG meeting, and like I told Aaron, I didn't send him the stuff because the girl in the office that was helping clean up things for me right now said, hey, you're off, but I wanted to be here just in case people were here for the other one and go through it, and make sure that you guys also understood why we weren't gonna have any more meetings. Because with this, there'll be some stuff that you have to sign, and you'll end up doing a letter basically stipulating certain funds, because we can't say that you're using OPWC funds, it'll say that you're using local, but you'll be using OPWC funds for your match. They're just kind of goofy about how they make us put that in.
So eventually you'll need us to vote on.
It really won't be anything to vote on, because you already got the money through OPWC, so you already have the leverage. There won't be anything this body has to do. There might be, and I'll have to check again with Megan in our office, there might be some kind of resolution that you pass one of the next couple months, saying that you want to apply for this $470,000.
That's been the way it has been in the past, is.
Yeah, I always have funding people in the office that are smarter than I am with those resolutions.
I'll have our strengths.
My strengths are having good people around me.
Makes sense.
So, but yeah, other than that, just wanted to make sure, since we were talking about other meetings, I wanted to come talk about, we're not having other meetings, we'll be able to get it all cleaned up and do this. Oh, I almost forgot. It's gonna get wet and it's gonna get crappy. And the ground's frozen. And everything's gonna run off in that area you're talking about that floods. I would like as many pictures as I can get of that area flooding.
I got it. I got them all.
Yep, but go ahead and take some more. I need them digitally. Because the more pictures we can show, the more documentation we can give, the more reason we can show why this line needs to go in.
I'll send them to Aaron. I think you already have them, don't you, Aaron? You still
I
have
have a handful of them, but yeah, if you could just send them all at once.
Yeah,
then I
I'll
can
send
pass
them all
on to
back
Craig.
too, because I've got,
Yep, but we're gonna get a lot of water here in the next few days again.
Mhm.
we even have, I think we even have thing to fly, a drone video.
Yep, the more, I can't submit video, but, the more pictures we have
Still
of it.
pictures out of it,
Yeah,
maybe.
yep.
Why does some of these people say no?
Well, that's gonna be the thing, it's their ground.
Yeah.
That's why I said basically telling them that you don't wanna do it as a petition ditch process. You'd like to just work with them and the village is gonna get it done if they can give an easement. That's basically your selling point when you go to them to hopefully they wanna work with you.
And if they don't have a good outlet currently.
Yeah, I mean, that's, in other places where I've done some stuff, that's really been the selling point, because the tile that was there is already going to crap, and it was already an old tile. Now, if somebody out there just got done tiling their field, then they might not be near as interested. But I don't know. That's kinda why I started just asking if you knew them, you guys are gonna know whether or not
I
they
know
done
some of
something.
them pretty
I think
good.
it's out past the, oh shoot, what is, I can't think of the guy, is it Show? Outside of town, across from there, I thought I saw a thing where he was putting tile in, he had the machine there.
Yeah, I mean, he would be out.
Outside of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's already did some on 33,
Yeah.
he owns.
Craig, if this went through, this ground
Ooh.
that would be under would be usable, correct?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it'd go in just like any other tile on the field.
Okay.
They tile it with, I mean, it'd be bid that has to go in with a tiling machine, so that when you'd have the fines worked up and put over just like you do, just like any other farmer's tile in the field.
But you said the one here, the little property, that basically goes through.
That already is going through a waterway, so that area there we just reseed.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
And as we come across tiles, strings,
Yep,
they
they all
would
get,
be hooked back into that 8-inch.
right.
Would there be an 8-inch on both sides, or just one?
Well, the trick will be, and it'd be interesting to talk to the farmers, because right now I put a quantity in there, not having any idea potentially where I need to run those strainers.
Right.
So I'll know a lot more once we start having conversations with those farmers.
Yeah.
Because typically, like I said, they're pretty good with knowing where the tiles are, a lot of them are.
And that line is better than going right along that fence line or whatever that is.
I mean, that's when he made the comment, what if they don't wanna do easements? I mean, if you flip to the other side and you know that one, if this property owner right here, I mean, the other side of the line, that's one property owner all the way from town, all the way down to where the grass waterway is. So if the first few don't wanna work with you, you go a little farther east, that's one property owner the whole way down, if he's willing to work with you. Now, the trick is with that property owner, like I said, the majority of his fields go the other way.
He has that benefit.
Not
Yeah.
gonna benefit him much.
Yeah, so there's not much benefit to him there at all. It doesn't mean that he might still work with the village, because he might think in the future, hey, somebody wants to do something, I wanna tie into this, it will give him a better outlet. Cause he goes the other way, but in truth, by the time he detains water, the county's probably gonna say, well, yeah, you can tie a
Right.
a 2-year storm, and it's not gonna hurt anything.
I just thought it was just a strainer, it would be.
It is, and that's where I'd originally kind of put it until I figured out where the waterway was. And once I figured out that the watershed was completely off of him, I'm like, it doesn't make as much sense to have on.
We're talking about, we're talking about which Pepaloach's property,
Oh,
trying to figure out, because I thought it was,
Where's Bill?
That's gotta be Joe.
If Bill,
Joe's dad?
just wait and see. There is a Bill, young Bill. Bill.
Craig and Ron's younger brother.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
between Fred and Ron.
okay, there you go.
He's a lawyer down
Yeah.
Okay.
Pictures
Yeah.
weird,
Just trying to
hanging
figure
up
out
on
which-
one of the poles out there.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
In the army.
Yeah.
I've got my hand, yeah.
So Craig, moving forward, how quick do we need to have this conversation with landowners?
it'd be nice to have him here within the next month if we could.
So
The
that,
applications are due here in April, yeah, so.
So February, March should have.
So it'd be nice to do it in February.
is that something we should give you a vote of confidence about, or is it just,
Well, I'm not going to
it's something that you'll work out, I mean.
Yeah, I'd
we should
wanna
have-
approach it with somebody from the village.
I think we just get a hold of those landowners and have them come in and look for a meeting and say, hey, this is what we're proposing, and see what kind of feedback we get from them.
Right.
Okay, something you and Aaron can handle.
Mm-hmm. The only other time it gets handled a different way is if somebody on council says, well, I'm pretty good, I know these guys pretty well, I'll take my map out there and I'll talk to them. Because most of the time, like everything in life, you want people to be comfortable with what you're talking about, because otherwise you feel like, they'll feel like what you're trying to.
Show something out.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not what it is, but that's how a lot of people take things when they get approached.
Right, but Becky sold it to her daughter, who then put her granddaughter. So, I don't know if this is strictly out or Clark.
All right, any more questions for Craig?
I'll make some contacts and get with you and see when we can sit down with them, and even if it's a couple times with different folks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it can be individually with each of them, because sometimes it doesn't work to get people all together at once.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
So really though, we're looking at 4 property owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would think the trunk line that we bring over from where, like where you're saying, where you know it's real low, they're gonna work with us to bring that over.
Oh, shit. I think so. I don't know. I technically don't own that. Somebody else owns that, but it fixes the water problem.
Alright, I wasn't even on the agenda, I've already used too much of your time.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks,
Greg.
Say,
Okay, well, I'll move on to open the floor for nominations for council president.
I nominate Lisa.
I respectfully decline, thank you, Deb, but, yep, I respectfully decline. I have other things that need to be taken care of, but I thank you very much for your nomination.
I will, nominate, Bob Miller.
I'll second that nomination.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes,
Miller,
Abstain.
Walty.
Yes.
All right, Bob,
Can't vote for you.
council president. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
All right. The minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. Approved. Fiscal officer report.
There is $1,534,901.82 in all of the funds, and there's $296,451.29 in the general fund.
The bills were read. Motion was made by,
So moved.
seconded by,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Miller,
yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
yes.
Walty.
Yes.
Okay. No committee reports today. Police report.
Want to give council an update on this community development team. I have been in contact with State Representative Susan Manchester's office. They're in the process of putting our proposal together to present to the proper budgetary committee. The budget talks are just beginning, so I still don't have a time frame as to when we might hear something. Of course, I will keep council informed as I receive that information. The annual Village Holiday Lights Competition saw 70 residential properties with light displays in the 2023 competition. The annual Holiday Lights competition completed with Marshall's on Tussing Street winning, a tie for second place with Darnell's on West Wapakoneta Street and Wittenbrink's on Wayne Street, McJunkins on South Westminster Street winning third place, and Carter's on North Westminster Street taking fourth place. Pictures of the winning properties as well as additional information are on the Waynesfield PD Facebook page. As of this date, there is still a ton of confusion for the current marijuana laws. Including in your packet is the latest legal guidance we have received from the Ohio Attorney General's office. This is simply for your information and will most likely change within the next few months. This is the guidance we have at the moment, and as you will read, it's a fairly complex issue that has multiple facets that we have to consider when faced with the marijuana issue. On January 14th, 2024, K-9 Hunter celebrated his 10th birthday. K-9 Hunter still appears to be in very good condition, so as long as his health holds up, I intend to keep him in service. His role may be changing, however. K-9 Hunter will still be utilized for patrol, apprehension work, tracking of subjects, and searching for articles. K-9 Hunter will also be used for narcotics detection in our school, as well as some public relations work. However, because he is certified in marijuana and marijuana legalization is more or less here, his use on most traffic stops will be limited. Depending on K-9 Hunter's health, legal changes, etc., this may be the year I may speak to council about the possibility of retiring him, but I'll keep council informed as needed. For 2024, the state of Ohio is requiring a minimum of 24 training hours, not including firearms training, for each officer in order to maintain certification as a peace officer. Much of this training can be done online, and the state will reimburse the village for 50% of each officer's wages. We've always exceeded the state minimum in training because I think this is important, and it's important to be as highly trained as possible, so there are several trainings throughout the year that Officer Humes and I will be attending. We are seeing a bunch of scams in the area here lately, beginning shortly after Thanksgiving and continuing now. We have seen a large number of scams in Waynesfield, from a Facebook account being hacked and trying to sell dogs to folks in the area, to phone scammers representing various companies calling, to people making up fake identities and trying to get money from individuals. I have had reports of 4 or 5 different scams. Most of these scams have to do with giving up a small amount of money or access to your bank account in exchange for a larger sum of money or goods, like I previously said, a puppy dog or something like that. Some of these scams are very complex, actually trying to form a relationship with the person by calling or texting the victim regularly. The end goal, in fact, I just had that happen to me yesterday. I had a random text out of the blue that was just weird, and it was a Los Angeles area code, and they said they were from New York, so I knew immediately it was a scam. The end goal is to try to get the person to send money via an online app on your phone or even doing a wire transfer with the promise of a bigger return payment. Some of these scams prey on individuals by telling them a made-up tragic story about their life, and because we are in a very trusting part of our country, this area is ripe for scamming people. Typically, we see older people getting taken advantage of, and in some cases, the person being scammed doesn't even feel like a victim or too embarrassed to admit they were scammed. So the bottom line is this: if it's too good to be true, it likely is. The likelihood of someone being prosecuted for these scams is very slim, as oftentimes these scammers are not located in the United States. Federal law enforcement generally will not get involved unless the loss is greater than $50,000 on cases that the suspect is outside the USA. So it's very difficult to prosecute these folks. Wanted to address an issue that came up at the last council meeting. There was a request made about possibly placing our sign that shows a vehicle speed on West Wapakoneta Street, also known as State Route 67. Unfortunately, after doing some checking, that is not possible because all signage on state routes are maintained and approved by the Ohio Department of Transportation. Because our sign is not owned and maintained by ODOT, we cannot receive approval to display it on a state route. The end-of-year annual report, that's the last piece of information I have for you tonight, as well as my 2024 vision for the police department. Included with this report, you will find the annual statistics compiled from 2010, which was my first full year as police chief, through 2023. The 2023 statistics indicate we saw a huge increase in total investigations and a slight increase in juvenile issues. Many of the investigations this past year included identity theft complaints, criminal trespass complaints, and domestic disputes. The juvenile issues were largely situations that transpired at school or were otherwise school-related. This includes truancy issues, assault, and even some custodial issues between parents and guardians. One area I spoke about in January 2023 during my 2023 vision report was to hone in on a community-oriented policing style of law enforcement. I feel we succeeded in making positive progress in that area. We conducted additional foot patrols this summer and stopped and spoke with numerous residents and heard about all sorts of concerns and even compliments. There are many times we were on patrol and folks flagged us down just to have a conversation, either as a follow-up to a previous conversation or because they saw us talking with a neighbor. There were several times residents stopped by the office just to see how things were going. I think that demonstrates a community-oriented focus. We also did a lot of public relations events within the community, from doing a self-defense class for the Girl Scouts at the library, to doing numerous canine demonstrations at the school, to participating in the Shop with the Blue event. And my goal of the police department taking intentional steps at connecting with the community has been achieved. Of course, we will continue down that road as well. Not to be lost in the community connectedness, we still work hard at combating crime within the village. I'm happy to report that all cases that were approved for criminal charges by the All-Glades County Prosecutor's Office this past year resulted in convictions. These are cases that have finished the legal process. We do still have about 3 cases, excluding one that came up today, that are still in the legal process. I bring this to council's attention because it's very important for me to send solid cases for prosecution. I don't like charging cases where the evidence is not clear. Not only is it a waste of resources, a waste of the court's time, and can become a department credibility issue, the cost for an individual can be substantial. So my goal is always to pursue criminal cases with vigor, but at the same time allow the evidence to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. There are 3 main goals I have for 2024. First, I would like the focus of the department to continue with a community-oriented policing style of law enforcement. Of course, we will still vigorously work to keep the community safe. Next, I would like to see the Waynesfield Police Department acquire grant funding for equipment upgrades in order to not impact our continually decreasing budget. And third, I would also like to see the community more involved in activities within the village. I hope to work towards recruiting volunteers to assist the police department in multiple areas such as safety awareness events, healthy activities, and other areas that promote a better quality of life for our residents. With that, if there are any questions, I'm all ears.
Good job, dude.
Thank you.
Anything for me? All right. So administrative report.
We'll start off with water and sewer. We did get 130 of the radios in for the new water meters. That is about a third of what we need for all of them to have radios for themselves. We'll start the install process in the coming weeks. Next step with that goes hand in hand, having the sales rep come in with their team and marry our 2 systems together, the reading part with the billing part, and then that way we can get our pad set up so when we do start putting them in, we can read those routes. House fire that we had outside of town, luckily they did have that pond out there. We used very little village water. I talked to the fire chief and he didn't know how much they did use, but I know they dropped that pond about a foot. So that's all water that wasn't processed and treated mechanically wise. So that was a nice plus. On the electric side of things, we did receive the 4 prototype meters. So they took all our information, put that in their database, and they made 4 meters. It has the Village of Waynesfield on it, has our seal on it. And what they want to do is get those 4 made so, 1, that they look right, 2, we install them and they read for a month or 2, make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, and then the process of retooling the factory, if you will, to just make all of our meters at once. I don't have a time frame for that. I was shocked to get those meters because they were saying that it'd be mid to late 24 when we seen those, so that is a good sign. Once we get those, all the meters in for the electric side of things, I plan on having AM come in with their 2 circuit riders and then pair up our guys with them and our guy that can pull meters and go through, and hopefully in 2 days we have all the electric meters changed out.
Aaron, on that, just because I'm not 100% clear, the pads, the readers that we get, is it a separate reader for the water and a separate reader for the electric, or is it the same reader, just different software?
So basically, you just get onto Census's app. You can put it on a phone, you can put it on the tablets we already have. We didn't have to buy a $15 pad because we have them currently. So what we'll do.
We have one that you said it was working.
Well, we have 3. They're not iPads or MacBooks or whatever they are.
Okay.
The reader itself that reads the water meters is what are obsolete.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a matter of having them put the app on with all the passwords and everything you have to go through on doing something like that, and then we can go around with either a phone or one of our pads and drive to town, and it'll just collect all that data, bring it back here, download it onto the system we currently have, and it'll all be married and pass through that way.
Is there you talk about loading it onto someone's phone.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be a violation of our security for our customers? To put it on something that's not owned by the village?
I will find out. When I said phone, I only said phone just because it was able to be on the phone. We have 3 pads. I don't plan on putting it on the phone,
Okay.
so I plan on putting it on all 3 pads. That way, if one dies or isn't charged, we can go out and still. We have 3 different options of how to read them.
Since we've had the readers go in, should we be thinking about buying a backup pad?
I would have to find out and look back and see how old the ones we have are. The ones we have work just fine. That's not saying that one of them just wouldn't go bad.
Just something to think about.
In that case, again, Nathan, do you know how old those are?
I want to say around 5 years old. They are Apple iPads. We paid pretty good. As technology changes, of course, they have been updated regularly, which is important.
Yeah.
And they only get used once a month. So
Yeah, they put the work orders out on them when we have them. Other than that, they just sit down at the shop, and we don't keep them plugged in, so the batteries shouldn't be an issue. But again, to Nathan's point, those pads are pretty inexpensive nowadays. So as we see that they're starting to show some wear on them, maybe just get one, and then it'll be good to go. Because we're paying technology for all 3 of them. So if we might be better off dollar-wise retiring those 3 and getting one, only having one cell service on one of them, and then cancel the other 2.
I trust you to figure that part out.
Okay.
The only other question I had, and again, this is more for my knowledge, I know that when we talked the other day about this fire outside of town, you said that you had to get Indian Lake in to disconnect the service and do all of that. Do we just absorb that as a village, or do we bill their insurance company for that additional cost?
So,
out of the goodness, I don't really care.
So that's where mutual aid comes in, and that's what I was going to touch on. We've leaned on Indian Lake several times in the last year and a half. And if it's during working hours, it's just mutual aid. It's one of them things where, hey, if they need help, we give whatever we can to help them. They've needed water parts and things like this. They've used our post hole digger. Those are the little things that little Waynesfield can help them out with, because when we call them to do the power shut off, they roll down, quit what they're doing, come down to help us, and then we're moving on from there. Versus calling another contractor in, or AMP is great, but the problem with AMP is they're an hour and a half away, unless they're in town. So that relationship with them is great. I really thank them for being able to be good neighbors and help out like that. So.
Thank you.
Yep. We had our annual testing on the tools on the electric trucks. That would be anything from the hoses that go on the top of the primary lines to the gloves to just the tools that need to be certified. That was all done. They will come back when it's a little bit better weather. They was here last week. A little bit better weather to make sure that all the trucks are electric tested. We haven't had any issues in the past, but as they go out, they age, anything can happen. What we don't want to have happen is think we're good and not be good. So it comes at a cost, but that's part of doing business, if you will. And then the only other thing I had was just an update on lands and buildings. The company that we contracted to have the HVAC split unit and the records and
Property.
Nathan's
Property. Your evidence property.
Evidence property. That portion that has been put in and is working as it should. And then we'll start working on getting quotes moving forward to redo a portion of the fence building as we had budgeted. And that's all I really have. And obviously some work with what Craig talked about. So progress.
Anything for Aaron? Okay, the mayor's report, there was $464 deposited in the general fund for the mayor's report account for the month of September.
I think it should be December.
Yeah, December, I think. Right,
Yeah.
December, thank you.
Okay.
I remember part of this to go through.
All right, old business.
Committee assignments, Mayor, you don't wanna do that, you're gonna do that under new business?
Oh, we're just gonna keep the committees as they are, just for now.
Yeah.
All right, old business. Got third reading of to pay the village administrator his back pay. Can I get a first on that?
Also moved.
Get a second?
No second.
Bob,
Yes.
Wall,
Are we voting on it?
Yes.
No.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
No,
Miller,
Yes.
Walton.
No.
Lynette, are you there?
Yeah.
So that was the third reading.
And it was tie. Do I break it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes. All right. Third reading of removing the parking signs on north side of the west Walpole Street. I got a motion on that first.
Yes.
so we wanna discuss what we talked about?
Second.
Maybe?
Yes, I think we better discuss it a little bit. We had a committee, storm and sewer, meeting on the 15th. And Aaron, Lisa, and myself, and talking and back and forth, we come to the conclusion that by narrowing if we put no parking there, with the larger traffic, tractors and semis, it'll make it more hazardous because you're narrowing the street. So, we come to the conclusion that we don't think we should take those signs down. We need to have no parking there.
So, and if I could jump in, just, I'm playing devil's advocate, because this was the argument that was brought up to me. Is council going to extend the no parking all the way to the traffic light on that side of the road then, because it's the same width all the way down? So the whole north side would be no parking? Because that, and now, I'm only bringing that forward because that's what the two people that questioned me about it asked about. Because the road is literally the same width all the way from the traffic light to Dollar General. So if it would stand to reason, if that's the concern, then the whole north side of the road should be no parking.
Then that's a discussion, I would say, that would be a discussion that would need to go back to
Go
the
back to
streets
committee.
committee.
Sure.
And as the resolution is currently written, then we need to vote on how it's currently written, and a new resolution would need to be brought forward to change anything on that road. And might want to ask Lynette that question. Are you there, Lynette?
Yes. I did not hear your question though.
Okay, Nathan is saying, we have a resolution to permit parking on the north side of the main street that goes east-west. Currently,
You have hold on, you've got an ordinance under your old business, not a resolution. Are we talking about the same ordinance?
yeah, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize. Well,
Okay,
it's a
okay, go ahead.
ordinance, yes, ordinance 2311-5. Okay? That ordinance was brought to council prior to going to the streets committee. The streets committee met to discuss it after its second reading. Based on that, the street committee is recommending that we not move forward from a safety perspective because it would choke the street down and create a potential traffic hazard. Nathan just brought up that the residents who are requesting that those signs be removed want to know then if we would change the ordinance or make an ordinance that would make it no parking on that street from the square all the way to the Dollar General. My thing is, we gotta vote on the ordinance as it's written, and then if we want to change the way the street is configured, we'd have to do another ordinance, is that correct?
You can amend the ordinance because it is only dealing with one subject. You can amend it right now on your record, and it still is on for its third reading, and you can move to adopt it with the amendment. Otherwise, you can allow it to die for lack of action, or you can pass it as it is written.
My question to council members is, since this is a change and that the street committee has not had an opportunity to discuss, should we allow this to die for lack of action and take the topic back to the street committee to have the discussion in the committee and have a different ordinance created if that needs to happen?
Makes sense to me.
That's a council call, not a legal call.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yes, that is a council call as to whether that would fall under the category of allowing it to die for lack of action, take it back to your committee to rework it, and then we can bring it back under new business.
So to allow it to die, we simply need to not have a motion on the third reading?
Correct. Mayor will call for a motion. Hearing none, dies on the table for lack of action. Move on to new business.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yes.
All right. So let's do this. Do I get a motion to move forward with the no parking? All right, not hearing anything that died. All right, any other old business that you guys know about?
I don't know if this, no, I'm sorry, go ahead, it's new business, I apologize.
All right, let's go to new business. We have need an emergency vote on authorizing the sale of personal property. Can I get first on the emergency report?
Is this the resolution that we do so you can sell us equipment for gov deals?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to adopt resolution 24-4-1.
Hey, can I get a second?
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wolfie.
Yes.
All right, now I need a motion to adopt resolution 24-1-1 for the sale of personal property.
So moved. I move to adopt resolution 24-4-1, resolution to authorize the sale of personal property.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wolfie.
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion to adopt resolution 24-1-2 as an emergency to appoint Matthew Mitchell as a magistrate for the village of Waynesfield.
I have a question.
And to waive the three reading rule.
Yes.
You have to declare, I have a question, if we can, you need to declare the emergency first, or can I ask my question? The only question I have is, as I read through this contract, and I did call Sarah and ask her, and she wasn't sure. In section 3, it indicates that we reimburse costs of the magistrate's continuing legal education courses required by the state or Supreme Court, and should be made upon receipt of the invoices for the service. We're hiring him as an independent contractor. Are we also going to pay for his continuing education? I mean, I don't know.
We have in the past. Yeah, typically, we have a $500 retainer, for him plus the training. which is good for 2 years. The certificate that he just got is good for 2 years. I want to say the training was $300.
I haven't got the bill yet.
I think it's around $300 for the training to retain a magistrate, essentially a judge, for $800 a year is pretty negligible in cost. I'm sorry, I just got a text message for mayor's court training. It's $125. So
Thanks, Diane.
yeah,
So that's good for 2 years then?
correct.
So we don't have to worry about this year then?
No, he just got the training, so if he submits an invoice,
Okay.
it's his responsibility per the contract to submit an invoice to the village to be reimbursed. If he decides through the goodness of his own heart he doesn't want to assess the village, then we don't pay it, so.
Does that go along with, does he do other things besides this?
He oversees mayor's court, so, if someone receives a citation.
No, what I mean is this a side job, does he? do
Yeah,
that?
he's an attorney, he's a full-time
So, I
attorney.
mean, he's doing that for his own self.
He is magistrate for the village of Waynesfield only, however. So he's
That
an
training was just for magistrates.
Correct, yes.
All right,
Thank you.
can I get a motion on that? This suspend the rule of 3 readings.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings, declare an emergency, the hiring of Matthew Mitchell, our magistrate in the village and mayor's court.
Yes, second?
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Nichols, I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, we need the motion then to hire Matthew Mitchell to serve as magistrate.
I'll make a motion to hire Matthew Mitchell as our magistrate for the mayor's court in the village of Waynesfield.
Just second?
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Then I need this motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings for a resolution authorizing, directing the village administrator, fiscal officer, and mayor to take all necessary steps to enter into a contract with American Legal Publishing for contractual renewal for the Ohio Revised Basic Code and declare an emergency.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty.
Yes.
And I need the resolution authorizing and directing the village administrator, fiscal officer, and mayor to take all necessary steps to enter into a contractual contract with American Legal Publishing for contractual renewal for the Ohio Basic Code.
So moved.
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty.
Yes.
I need a motion for a utility billing cycle for water and sewer rents and declare an emergency. I get a-
I'll make a motion to declare an emergency. Adopt ordinance 24-1-1. Adjusting.
Mayor, I didn't miss, I want to make sure that I didn't miss something. Is this for waiving of the 3 reading rule to do it as an emergency?
Yes.
Thank you.
Declare emergency first.
Wait, ruling the 3 readings to declare an emergency, to adopt ordinance 24-1-1 to adjust the utility billing cycles for water and sewer rates and declare an emergency.
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Walsey.
Yes.
Okay, now can I get the actual ordinance?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 24-1-1, an ordinance adjusting the utility billing cycle for water, sewer, rents, and
I'll second it.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey.
Yes.
All right. Now, we have to approve it, or is that just okay, can I get somebody to make a motion to approve for physical officer to register for 2024 local government facial cert conference on March 26th, 27th, and 28th, 2024?
Make a motion to approve the attendance by a physical officer to the 2024 local government officials conference.
Just a second.
Second?
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey.
Yes.
Okay. Council.
I have only one thing that I'd like council to consider under new business. As I was doing the review for the records retention policy, one of the things that came to my attention was a records retention policy regarding social media use. We are now using social media, specifically Facebook, as an official means of notification for meetings. And I do not believe we have a records retention nor a social media policy. Did you hear that, Lynette?
I couldn't make out all of it.
Okay,
No, something
I'm
about
sorry.
add new business with the resolution.
No, I'm in charge of the records committee, and I've been working
Yeah.
on the records retention policy. And in reviewing some documents today, I came across a notation by the Ohio Historical Society making reference to having a records retention policy for the use of social media as an official means of conducting business. Specifically, we use Facebook and have adopted Facebook and our website as an official form of notification for meetings. And we do not have anything, either a social media policy that I'm aware of, or a policy regarding the retention of that documentation.
Okay, might I make this suggestion? By Ohio statute, I, as solicitor, have to attend, as I am part of the membership of the Public Records Committee. May we schedule a, meeting for that committee, and we can discuss this matter and figure out what, the committee is, wanting to enact, and I can take care of it after we have a first meeting.
Okay, I can send you electronically as well if you would like what we currently have in draft form in terms of records retention. Or do you want to wait
That
till
would be
after?
helpful.
Okay,
Yes, that would be helpful, thank you.
I
I'll be
can-
happy to look at, whatever you have, and I can speak with you individually about that. And then we can get a, records, committee, public records, committee meeting scheduled and move forward with, whatever the committee's will is.
our typical meeting date, Lynette, is the second Tuesday of the month in the morning at some point, but I don't know if that'll work for your schedule. We can certainly adjust to your schedule. The members of the committee are Deb, Bob, and I, and we're all three retired. We have schedules, but we're retired, so your schedule.
Thank you. We won't have a problem figuring something out. I do appreciate that. We'll, I'll work through, perhaps we can work through Sarah to get some scheduling, on the books, and, we'll make it work.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lynette, the council meeting calendar, does that have to be a motion? Or just,
Not yours.
No, for the Public Records Committee here.
no, the council meeting calendar, that we,
Oh, no, you can do my motion if you'd like, you can, we just need to have one sent, so that Sarah can get it published. If you'd like, you can do it by motion. But the important thing is to go through, account for your holidays, so that you can put it on your website and otherwise legally publish it, so everyone knows when the regular meetings are going to be scheduled monthly.
Okay. Can I get a motion to accept council meeting calendar for 2024?
I'll make a motion to accept the council meeting calendar for 2024.
And a second. Second.
Can I ask a question? Why is May highlighted?
Memorial Day is the fourth Monday.
We always have it earlier, third Monday instead of fourth.
Okay, well, so,
Well, and every other year, I think in December, you guys do it the third, but you never changed it for May, so I figured, we can look into
okay,
that.
that explains.
There was a resolution passed for the December meeting, but not for the Memorial Day
Yeah.
time, so.
We need to call vote.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wolke.
Yes.
Any other new business? All right, Lynette, you got the floor.
Thank you, everyone. I'm pleased to let you know that no appeal was taken in Ryan Allen versus Village of Waynesfield. The deadline was Friday at 4:30. The court was open, no filing was made. Matter has been successfully defended, and it cannot be refiled. You're done with that.
Oh, it was closed with prejudice.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
All right,
That doesn't
go ahead.
mean-
Lynette, you have something else?
Yeah. No, I think that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
All right. Get a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, before you do that, there was a question. Hey, Lynette, could you explain when a judge issues a ruling with prejudice, what that means? There's a little bit of question as to what that is.
I'm not able to hear that very well, Mayor. Can you repeat it for me? Can I explain? And then I lost the rest of it.
Can you explain, Lynette, this is Aaron, can you explain when it means a judge closes it with prejudice, what that means? There's a couple of questions out here about that.
Absolutely. When a civil action and a criminal action can be dismissed in one of two ways. They can be dismissed with what is called with prejudice and without prejudice. When actions are dismissed without prejudice in civil matters, they can be refiled within 1 year from the date of the dismissal. That's according to an Ohio Civil Rule of Procedure. When cases are dismissed with, and there are instances where criminal cases can be dismissed with prejudice if it's dismissed or without prejudice to refiling, meaning it can be filed again if it's still within the statute of limitations. When something is dismissed with prejudice, it means the court has made a ruling on the merits and that judgment has been issued for one side or the other, and it is over with finality. So it can be appealed, as we had in this case. We got a dismissal with prejudice in the trial court. Then 30 days by rules of procedure existed for it to be appealed. No appeal was filed, and now it is conclusively dismissed with prejudice to refiling. You will never have to defend against those claims again.
Thanks for the clarification.
You're very welcome.
All right. Anything else? Get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wolke.
Yes.
Thank you, Annette. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get great news,
Thank you,
but
I appreciate it.
the next thing is an MRI.
My question would be, I guess I'm like,
Got done in an hour and 8 minutes.
Diabetic. covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
especially with, even with Greg.
With Craig,
Yeah.
knowing he was coming, absolutely.
High blood pressure.
I'd like to just meet you.
Not knowing he's not coming, that's the meeting. Yeah, what was you after that meeting?
Yeah, I smoked for
We
a long
wasn't
time.
noticing his coming. Oh,
It was right there.
Yeah, same time. So, yeah, surprise, but.
Right,
All right, well,
Thanks,
that's
okay.
good.
No, I can
Yeah, see, I've done one for